We'll start with a general introduction from you, so you'll take up to 2 minutes to introduce yourself and the position you're running for, and in your response, you can try to talk about what is your platform and why do you want to run.
Okay, that works. So hello, my name is, Hello, my name is Aaron Valecki, and I'm currently a junior, and I'm running for Vice President of Communications. So a little bit more about me. I am currently a double major in chemical engineering and statistics, and a little bit about my experience is that I was this semester elected to Vice President of Communications internally from the student life position as an engineering representative, and I hope to return to this position after this election. And then a little bit about my platform personally is that I want to try and create a little bit more transparency on campus. So in the fall, we had our former Vice President of Communications step down, and we had a little bit of dismay in communication. So I want to try and bring back that transparency between USG and the student body. And with that, I also want to try and increase more club and student interactions with each other to try and create more student connection. And then I also want to do one special thing as this year is an election year. I want to try and create a voter initiative in order to help get more student votes on campus for the presidential election and in student elections in general on campus. And that's kind of a little bit about my platform. Thanks.
So now we're going to move on to the discussion questions. You have up to 45 seconds to talk about them. First, in the fall, USG didn't have much interaction with the Crew student body. Since being elected this semester, how have you created changes towards the Communications Committee to help USG be more transparent in their decisions?
So after the former vice president stepped down, I did bring back several different items. So first I brought back the newsletter, which is kind of the main way I get our information from USG out into the student body. So that could be either through forums, surveys, events that are happening on campus. And then I also try to revive the Instagram as more of a social media platform in order to interact with clubs that way as well. And then I also try to update the website a little bit more accurately with information since it was outdated at the time. So my main focus is trying to make everything that we have a little bit more transparent, and those are the main ways that I focused on it as well.
Okay, there are reports that not all students receive the newsletter. How do you think most students get their information at Crew? And do you have any alternative ideas to spread events and news to the student body?
So I feel like a lot of students on campus get their news from like a variety of ways. A lot of people can do different ways through newsletter, which is the main way that USG does it, but there's also word of mouth from friends, also posters and different chalking around campus. So I feel like a good way I can start alternating or bringing more ways of advertising is through postering and more physical presence on campus instead of just electronic or over social media. That way I can get the word out to more students about different events and a little bit more about different actions that USG is making and trying to get a little bit more support on our end as well.
What are your views on Feedback Fridays? Do you think they get enough engagement, and how can those be improved?
So for Feedback Fridays, I do think they're very beneficial as they are kind of the more like one-to-one interactions with student body. So it's like me going up and getting opinions from people. And I feel like their Feedback Fridays could always be better. I don't normally get about 100 reviews a survey, which is a decent survey for the general area. But I feel like a way to improve them would definitely kind of mix up the times and days that I do it at. So it's not consistently the same time period. That way I can interact with different students instead of having kind of the same sample that walk through Tink at the same time. So that'd be a way I'd improve it. And then also after the Feedback Fridays, I would try and bring it into the newsletter and social media as well.
To our understanding, there is at least one USG member that sits in on the FISCU subcommittee meetings that Crew holds. Most students don't know what this is or what goes on at these meetings. Do you have future plans to disseminate the information from these meetings to the student body, and if so, how?
Yeah, so FISCU is kind of a relationship between USG members have ability for students to sit on different advisory boards for different advisors. So I want to try and bring that a little bit more communication between that since it's a little not super clear right now. So I'm going to try and create like separate individual folders within the public access drive that are kind of notes and minutes from the meetings that go on. And then another goal I have is to try and on the social media kind of have different like weekly or monthly newsletters for the meetings to get like wrap-ups of what has occurred in the meetings. So that's my goal for next year to kind of increase the transparency between that kind of aspect.
Last question, do you have a overall summary, if you had a reason for the student body to vote for you, what would it be?
My main reason I feel like the student body should vote for me is that I am very passionate about like making sure that everyone has their say in kind of their aspect in kind of the democratic process, and that's kind of what USG is kind of focused about, is trying to represent the student body. So I feel like my position is trying to make sure that we can get as much interaction in the student body and making sure that we can get students' opinions in order to make the campus better for everyone here as well. Thank you.